Good evening, everyone. Tonight I wish to recite a prayer, a very serious prayer, which, well, you be the judge about it. It goes something like this. Dear Socialism, you are my heaven. Hallowed is your name. Your kingdom has come. Your will is done, on earth and amongst all races. Give me this day my daily bread, and forgive me of my thievery, as I forgive those who thieve and trespass against others. And deliver me to everlasting utopia on earth. Amen. Well, it's a bit of a parody, I know, and not a great one, but I just came up with it, so I thought I'd share it with you. No, the reason I harp on this idea of socialism a lot is because I feel it is very destructive. And also, it is in contravention, or it's contrary to the inner genie. The inner genie, the old saying is everything starts at home, right? And I try to help people improve the quality of their lives. And if I'm to say that it's out there, like the gods, you pray to this God, pray to that God, pray to the God of socialism, and you will have everlasting utopia or some sort of improved relationship with, or improved quality of life. I can't do that in good conscience. And to me, socialism results in dystopia, not utopia, because it is wrong-headed. Simply, it is wrong-headed. When you drop a stone in the water, the ripple starts from where the stone hits. It starts in the center of that and it goes out. And to me, that's the only way that we're going to improve ourselves, is by starting here where we are, and the ripple effect can go out. But socialism starts from out there. It says that the group, the common good, is more important than the individual. And that makes no sense whatsoever, because the group is only an aggregate of the individuals. So unless we focus on the individuals and seek out what's in there from that ripple effect coming out, then it's never going to work. It's always been a failure. It's illogical. It makes no sense. And we can go on praying for it forever and hoping for utopia there. But it is dystopia because it is wrong-headed. So what I would say is that the inner genie is just a metaphor for genius, or whatever it is that's possible, like trying to cultivate as much as we can of ourselves, right, and let that ripple out. Well, socialism is like the outer genie, right? Focusing on that first and trying to create that, trying to manipulate the outer world so that I'm going to feel better. And it always results, of course, because it's illogical. I heard one person saying one time, and I thought it was very interesting. I didn't understand it at the time. You cannot understand evil because it makes no sense. So the idea of trying to understand something that is illogical, it never makes sense because you cannot put it together, because it's illogical. And it's the same thing with socialism. When you dig deep enough into it, it makes no sense because you're trying to create betterment without working on what makes it better. The only thing that we can affect first and foremost is ourselves, because whatever we manipulate in the world, we manipulate from ourselves. So the better we can be, the better we can manipulate whatever it is that we're building. So the approach has to be from the inside, the inner strength, right? And that goes into so the inner strength of will, of character and whatnot, affects our health in body, affects our health in mind, and so on. And that begins to affect the health of our communities and so on. But to try to manipulate the community so that the individual can feel better is completely backwards. It's ass backwards. And it always results in dystopia, because utopia being, the U is always the improve, right? It's like the growth side of things, like forget an example of that, But if you look it up, as a prefix, the U just means kind of the growth, and the dis is a reduction. Oh, I remember. Eustress. Eustress is the good stress that helps us to grow, and distress is tearing us down. So utopia is something that we want. We want this opia, which helps us to grow, right? Or topia. We don't want the dystopia. Dystopia would be to be going into a worse situation. So because I work on the Inner Genie project to help people to bring out that inner genius, and to help to bring out that inner greatness, that where they can grow, by being honest, I have to speak out in disfavor of ideologies and ways of thinking that tear that apart, that are completely illogical. And if I was to say to somebody, in order to improve yourself, you got to manipulate all this other stuff and these people over here and so on, and not first and foremost work on yourself, that would be a lie, right? And I think that's why there's so much thievery and dishonesty and so on that comes through socialism, because it is fundamentally wrong. So people who try to keep manipulating, they got to keep trying this and trying this and trying this and trying this, and it is a rejection of logic. So when you have a rejection of logic, then even morals break down, because morals, when really looked at and really developed from a logical standpoint, are that they're logical. It's like, be nice to somebody so they'll be nice to you, you know, and it's the recognition of those sorts of things over time, of how one thing leads to the next, cause and effect, right? And so I really strongly believe, and have lots of examples, lots of stories along that line in this book, which is available at lulu.com or Amazon, or from your local bookstore if you order it. It's not an ebook yet, and it may eventually be, but I'm going to be working more on that project. And fake news has banned it. It was banned from Google at one point, so that might be something. It's a banned book, basically. It was a banned book, so that might tell you something about some of the content. So I would say that, for thine is the kingdom, the power and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. And not so much to the thine being socialism. I don't think so. It's been tried over and over again, but then again, so has all sorts of mysticism and poor arguments been used over and over again, because people are always trying to short circuit things, right? They're always trying to find the perpetual motion machine and the free energy and all kinds of things in the world. And it's kind of understanding, you know, but it's rather juvenile when you look at things and realize that there's cause and effect. And if you mess with that and try to short circuit it and say that in order to improve me, I got to improve that little thing over there, or I got to get in good favor of that little thing over there, which was a figment of my imagination anyways, and it's an excuse in the meantime not to work on myself, that to me is a distraction, and it's really a prayer in the wrong direction, I think. So hopefully this explained a little bit of why it is one of the reasons why I harp on socialism so much. It's just because it's so insidiously prevalent in the thoughts of so many people, myself included at times. And in fact, I had somebody say to me the other days, one of the things I don't like about these alt-right people is they're socialists. What? Socialists? Yeah, because they believe in government. Ah, I get it, right. Anybody who believes in government is a socialist, of course, right? Because it's believing in some godly nature of some bunch of people or group of people or whatever to administer stuff at the barrel of a gun, always. And yeah, that's, first of all, it's antisocial. It's antisocial behavior. Socialism always is. It's civil war. It's all of those things. But most of all, it's illogical. And it's a prayer to a God which is never going to deliver utopia, because the nature of it is dystopic. One man's opinion. Steve here again, great chatting. Talk again soon. Bye for now.